Hi there! Today I'm going to be doing my second look with my Sephora haul. I have a full face here of new products from Sephora to try on for you today. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. If you can see behind me, there's a red dress that I'm going to be wearing today. So this look is definitely going to be a neutral look. The first product that I'm going to use is the new Huda Glowish Primer. Let me show you what this looks like inside. It's very, very interesting. Looks like a red gel. There's no scent to it at all. And this is supposed to be very blurring. I'm just going to take some off the top here. This may be too much. Let me put a little back on. There we go. Let's start with this much. Babs Beauty loves this stuff. So this is the consistency of it right here. And I'm going to put it right here, especially in the center of my cheeks. This feels like a jelly. It's kind of funny. It feels like a grape jelly going on my face. It dries down kind of liquidy a little bit. I'm just going to put it here on the center of my face, maybe a little bit more up on my forehead, and let that dry. So yeah, it felt like kind of dipping my fingers in and putting kind of a smooth grape jelly on my face at first. So we will have to see how this goes on under makeup. It does have, once you get kind of down into the pot, it does have this cute little scoop that I need to try to keep up with so that I don't lose it. So that is our face primer for today. For eye primer, I want to use this NARS eye primer today. And I was influenced to purchase this during the Sephora sale by Allie Glines. This is her go-to eye primer, and so the Sephora sale was the perfect time to pick this eye primer up. Let's see how this feels on our eyes. Okay, it's a little bit tacky. It is going on smoothly and nicely. It is not causing a white cast or a white tint. It doesn't offer any coverage. If you have really red or veiny eyelids, I don't see this being really good for that. So the NARS primer, we'll see how the eyeshadow goes on top of that. The face primer still feels a little bit tacky. The foundation that I'm going to use today is the Haus Labs. This is the Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. And let's see here, the shade. It's a kind of dark shade. Let's see here. I always forget by the time I'll have to look this up, you guys, and post it down below, the shade. So this bottle, it feels like you could do serious damage if you threw it at someone. It's so heavy, and it has a pump. I haven't used this yet on my face. I just kind of tested it on my hand. So I am going to put, starting one pump on my hand. This looks a little bit dark, but I'm so tired of picking foundations that are too light that I went for the darker shade. So let's see how this goes on. It's definitely just a little dark, but a tip that I learned from Nikki LaRose is, unless you really, really need a lot of coverage here, don't put much foundation there at all, because that's where your foundation meets your neck. And if you're going to see a foundation line, that's where it's going to be from. So one pump. You guys know that I don't put a lot of foundation on because I do have more mature skin, and generally less is better. And so far, the consistency of this is It's not a thin foundation. It's a little thicker. You may have seen on my hand, it wasn't really runny. And it is creamy. The finish seems to me to be a satin finish. And the coverage with just one pump all over my face is medium coverage. It feels like it's going to be long wearing. It feels like it's going to be a pretty durable foundation. So we'll have to see. All right, foundation down. So this is the concealer that I got. This is the NARS Creamy Concealer, and this is light. It looks like 2.N, and this is what it looks like in the pot. I didn't want something brightening. I had purchased a concealer through the sale that was not brightening. This is my BK and Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush, and I'm going to just take this on this brush right here under my eye and in this little cavern here. And I watched a video tutorial by Nikki LaRose. She's fantastic. She just posted a video yesterday with her husband Mitch, and he applied her makeup. They had agreed that they would do this video once they reached 100K, and she did. And it's truly one of the, I would say, top 3 videos that I have seen on YouTube. It was so wholesome. Their love was so obvious, and he was so precious trying to apply these makeup products, and she was so patient with him. But anyway, when she did this makeup tutorial for the person who does not wear makeup, this is the concealer that she chose, because you can just use your finger, warm it up, and dab it like that with your finger. This is a very simple concealer. This is super creamy, and the coverage, I would say, is light to medium with just a tiny dab of concealer, which is all I use. So the NARS Creamy Concealer in the pot, that's the concealer we use today. Now we're going to use, let's see here, just one more liquid product, and that's the Tower 28. This is the Sculptino, and this is in the shade Broad. And I used the blush the other day and really enjoyed it, so let's see what this bronzer does. I'm using the e.l.f. Duo complexion brush. I just kind of pat this on in very light layers. Whenever you're using a new product, better just to get a tiny dab and have to go back than glop a whole bunch of on and then blend it out and have poor blending. So this is a very, very light coverage concealer. Also, it seems to really be going on very smoothly, very easy to blend out. This is more of a warm shade on me. Normally I prefer cooler shades for my bronzer, and this is more of a warmer shade on me, but I don't feel like it's so warm that it looks yellow. Just gonna kind of bronze over the bridge of my nose, and also here in the crease of my eye, just getting a little bit of dimension started here. All right, I'm gonna blend out this concealer with my e.l.f. complexion brush and even take a little bronze up here. So now we're gonna go in with powder, and this is a new powder from NARS, very thin component. So this is in the shade Sunshore. I've heard really good things about this, and I want to apply this all over my face. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a fluffier brush. This is obviously tinted, so I'm going to go really light and sparingly under the eyes, just barely enough so that the eyes are set. I mean, just one dab and then tap off to set my under eyes. Okay, Little powder up here to set this bronzer. Very nice. I'm going to take my BK 103. This is my favorite fluffy powder brush, and we're gonna set the rest of the face. This is a good shade for me, I believe. And it's a very light. Let's see how this looks as I'm applying it. I don't feel like this is super blurring or smoothing the way that I'm applying it. I'm just basically setting my face with this, so I don't feel like you're gonna see any of these dramatic blurring before and after pics like you see when people do more of a baking with it. So we'll just have to see how this powder wears throughout the day. Now we're going to go into blush and highlighter. I'm so thrilled to have the Natasha Denona Light Face Palette. I purchased the dark palette when it was on sale last year, and then I purchased the Love palette when it came out earlier this year. I wanted the light palette, but I just refused to get it until it went on sale. So you have your blush and highlighter up here, and you have this adorable little cover that goes over them. You don't get eyeshadow in your blush and highlighter that way. Again, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Duo complexion brush, go into the blush shade. It just says cream blush. So we have lightly set the face. Let's see how this goes on top of a lightly powdered face. So you can see this blush. I only tapped a couple of times, and it is very, very subtle. So I'm going to dip in a little bit more to this cream blush. This doesn't feel quite as creamy as the blush in the Love palette, which is actually, I think, kind of a good thing. Again, I'm getting really, really subtle coverage. I like a lot of blush, so gonna build up a little more because this is the only blush that I'll be wearing today. Now I'm starting to see it. All right, a little bit right through the crease here. Nice. Now let's do the other side. Starting very light. So for those who don't apply makeup regularly, everybody's face structure is different, but in general, what I've seen is that blush looks really good when it's applied right here on this cheekbone. Apples of the cheek, some people like to do, but really from here back and up to blend like this. Just like that. And then with product, once you've put the most product right here and back, you can kind of go over the bridge of the nose and put a little in through your eyelid if you want to. So very subtle blush. I feel like this gives a natural glow to the face. Now we're going to go into the highlighter right here, and I'm going to use the same e.l.f. brush. Oh, okay, that's dramatic. Okie dokie. Did you guys see that? All right. So I assumed that because the blush was subtle, the highlight was going to be subtle. And now you can see me from outer space. Okay. Take my foundation brush. If you apply too much blush, bronzer, highlighter, take your foundation brush and just gently dab over everything. Not only does it meld everything in, but it kind of tones everything down a little bit. So we'll dip back into this for eyes. Next is lips, and this is the lip liner that I purchased. This is Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. I went to the Dollar Tree with my husband a couple days ago, and I've been wanting a hand mirror for my videos, and I found this mirror, and it had this little mirror right in with it for $1.25. So I thought that pink was a great color, and so I'm going to apply my lip liner. Hold, please. Okay, so that's just my lips but better. I had hesitated to get the Iconic Nude because on some people I feel like it looks really dark, and on me, I don't like a real dark contoury color, but I feel like this is the perfect neutral lip liner. So the next product that we're going to use is a new Merit lipstick that I purchased, and this is L'Avenue. This package is super luxurious. You just twist this, pull it out, and as you can see, this is a super dark color. And so I'm going to have to put it on very sheer to not conflict with that red dress over there. So let's see if we can just blot and apply this very sheerly. Okay, this is pretty much perfect. So this is not like the creamiest lipstick I've ever tried, but it feels like it's going to be pretty long lasting. The color is precisely what I wanted. In the summer, I can wear it real sheer like this. And in the fall, I can really amp this up. This color is exactly what I wanted. So I think this is gonna go really pretty with that red over there. Really happy about this purchase. Let's start getting the brows ready now. The only brow products that I purchased for this sale were the Kosas Trio. So this is the clear brow gel. This is always how I like to start my brow routine. Some people like to do their brows first to frame their face, which I totally get that reasoning. And I'm just too sloppy with my foundation and stuff, and by the time I get done with my base, half of my brows are gone, and it doesn't work for me for some reason. So we'll just leave the brows right there. Now, the good stuff. This Natasha Denona Light Face Palette. We're gonna do a look with these beautiful eyeshadows. I can't wait. So obviously we're gonna start with this fluffy shade, and I'm going to begin with a Rephr 15 brush. I need to wash my brush in my extra time, ha ha ha. So let's get our handy dandy mirror and let's start a nice transition here. So this is a perfect transition shade, I believe. More on the warm side. Just a perfect way to get things started. I'm going to build this up just a little bit. Very easily built up with this Rephr brush. This is just blending way too easily. I mean, this is easy work right here. I am interested in getting the Singe brushes from Angelica Nyqvist. She is such a wonderful creator, and she's really good with eyeshadows, and so I would think her brushes from her new beauty brand would be ideal. So we've just got a real basic, just a little interest, just a little dimension. Let's go ahead and stay with this brush, and now we're going to go in with crease. I forget, these are just her, you know, she's trying to tell you how to do this kind of thing. So the first one was transition. So this shade right here is crease. So we're gonna go just a little bit lower in the crease with this little bit darker color, and we're just adding a little dimension. We're just layering a little bit lower and just layering. One of my, I guess goals is the right word, is to do a little more dramatic look, because I don't believe that being 52 should limit how dark I wear my makeup. And so I'm trying to be not as timid. You know, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I did all kinds of colorful stuff. I was absolutely fearless. And now somehow I have managed to restrict myself. And yet I see all these beautiful palettes. There's a brand new one from Unearthly. Don't know if y'all have seen the new one from Cleona. There's one from Adept coming out that is just gorgeous. And one that I am really particularly interested in is the new one from Simply Posh Cosmetics. But they're all very colorful products. So next, let's go in with a Rephr 14, a little bit smaller. We're going to go into the shade Smoke, which for obvious reasons is going to go out here where we want a little more smokiness. So what we're doing here is adding a little darkness to the outside of our eye. And so this gives it a multi-dimensional look, but also it is flattering to most eye shapes. I was tempted to take it up and out today, but I decided to stay right here in the V with it. So you can look at the two eyes, this one with the dark and this one with nothing. And you can just see there's just a little something that looks better. So let's now smoke out this side here. And so what I'm basically doing is just taking this brush and drawing an angle. I'm making a triangle right here in the outer corner of my eye. And then once I've gotten all the color down exactly where I want it, I'm just very lightly in the bottom part of the crease here, just blending out. So we're going to build that up a little bit. And Natasha Denona, it's like, especially this palette, she tells you exactly where to put everything. And so if you are a beginner, not only are the eyeshadows so easy to blend, but also she literally tells you where to place each shadow. So there we have that. Now I'm going to take a small pencil brush. Let's see here, this is the 03. First I'm going to go into the first shade, which is the transition shade. And I'm going to put this on right here. A little bit more. Try not to be afraid to build these things up a little bit more. Okay, so now look at the difference in these two eyes. This one I just put a light shadow right here. And doesn't it just look more complete and finished off than this eye does? It's these just simple little tiny things that make the biggest difference with makeup looks. And I have learned all of these techniques from watching YouTube. Back when I went to school to become an esthetician, the makeup portion of the curriculum was just pitiful. And so everything that I've learned about makeup, I've learned from my mama and from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. I'm trying to give back. We have two utterly gorgeous shimmers. This one is a little bit darker. This one's lighter. This one's gonna go all over my lid. This one's gonna go in the inner corner. So per usual, I love to pick up my shimmers with my fingers. Ooh, pretty. I'm gonna start it about 2/3 of the way in. Right like that, and I'm gonna pat it all over the lid. And everybody who said that these shimmers were some of her best, they were right. This shimmer is stunning. It has some light gold and a little bit darker gold flecks in it. And it's so dainty and beautiful. Very, very subtle, but very pretty. I'm going to take a slightly larger pencil brush from Rephr. This is my Refer 26, and we're going to go into the shade. It's funny, even has these named. We have outer corner where I put the one just now, and inner corner where I put this one. So we are gonna put this in the inner corner and kind of swoop it up. Swoop it around, swoop it up. Just like this. And I don't know how well you can see, but this adds a little lightness and brightness to the inside where there's shadows most of the time. It brightens things up a little bit. And Patty Alonso is known for this whole swooping up thing. And so I'm just being a big copycat. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, right? All right, so that's the eyes. Now, if we want an eyeliner look, but we don't necessarily want to deal with eyeliner, we can take an angle brush, go into the darkest shade, Smoke. The denser the brush, the more color impact you're going to get. And we can run Smoke right out here on the edge and take it about halfway in and then really kind of make it disappear once it gets toward the bottom. Again, a very subtle difference. There's always one eye that's easier to do, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. My right eye is more difficult to do. All right, very subtle, but it just adds all that more dimension and interest, and I love it. We're gonna finish brows off now. Next, we're gonna use the Kosas eye pencil, and this is in the shade Taupe. This is more of a rectangular applicator, and I'm going to start here on the inside of my brow. My brows are absolutely white. You cannot see them. And so when I'm using eyebrow pencils, I have to go really, really, really slow with my eyebrows, and they never look as dark on camera as they do in person. So it may still look on camera like I have no eyebrows when actually I do. I can't say that this is my favorite eyebrow formulation. Trying to make sure I don't block you guys. It's more of a subtle, buildable formula, which I just said that I like, but it might be a little too subtle and buildable. I got my fan on, and obviously the outside of my eye is tearing a little bit from the air from the fan to keep the hot flashes at bay. You younger girls who are watching, I know you might be laughing, but one day. All right, so you can see a little better, pardon my sniffles. And lastly, we're going to use the Kosas eyebrow gel. This is a tinted gel. If I wanted a really polished eyebrow, I would take some of this NARS concealer. Today I want a little bit more of a fluffy, natural look. My whole vibe is more, I guess, boho-y, if that's a word. Boho-y. That sounds kind of cool, actually. Boho-y. All right, so we got the eyebrow pencil on, our eyebrow gel. I'm going to turn my fan off. So I want to apply the Rare Beauty mascara. I got this in a mini with the eyeshadow. And so people love this. And I want to see if the hype is real. I can tell right away it's a little more of a wet formula. And I can also tell right away that it's making my lashes look beautiful. Fluffy, natural, lengthened, very beautiful. All right. Very pretty. I did so much research before this Sephora sale, and so far I'm really pleased with the products that I got. So you can see that we're going to put another layer on. All right, it's layering really well. I'm not looking spidery or clumpy at all. I'm looking lengthened, fluffy, and natural. That's how I'm going to describe this. Very pretty. I'm going to see how this wears on the top lashes before I apply it to the bottom lashes. One other thing that you can do to just add a little bit of oomph is you can take either your lip liner or a dark eyeliner and go right in here at the base of your eyelashes on the inside. Be careful, don't poke your eye out. And this automatically makes your lashes look a little thicker. So the products that I used today I'm very pleased with. I'm really happy with them. First of all, the NARS eye primer. I feel like the Natasha Denona eyeshadow went over very well on this. And then the Glowish, sorry, I'm breaking stuff. The Glowish primer that I put in the middle of my face, I don't necessarily feel blurred. I don't feel really any different with it at all. However, the foundation went over it really well. As far as the foundation goes, this is a medium coverage. This went on really well. This color ended up being a really good match for me, even though initially I thought it was going to be dark. And so this is medium coverage. It's a little thicker. It's not a real thin consistency. So just know that if you're going to purchase this. And so I think I would really enjoy this in the fall and winter for like a little heavier application, but I'm planning to use it some more. The Tower 28 bronzer in the shade Broad. It was natural looking, creamy, went on very well. The NARS powder, I think I'll take just a little more on a little brush here and just kind of finish off here a little bit in my T-zone. Just a little finishing to see how it does with that. It's a very thin powder and it just doesn't feel like you have anything on. I think this would be ideal for people with dry skin especially. I have pretty normal skin, but I think it's a great finishing powder as well, so I can recommend the NARS. The Merit lipstick, it is not the creamiest lipstick I have ever tried, but it does go on nice. The color is beautiful. I feel like it's going to stay on really well all day, and I'm just very pleased with this lipstick. The Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Iconic Nude. Very creamy, perfect color, perfect shade for neutral lips. The Natasha Denona cheek palette. The shimmers are super impactful. The mattes blend very easily. The color is true to pan. So easy to work with. The blush is a little bit more subtle. I think I'll put some more on. The highlighter is super impactful. Be careful with the highlighter. But the blush is a little bit more subtle, but the tone is perfect. The Rare Beauty mascara, long, fluffy, natural. Those are my 3 keywords for that. So this was my second video with my Sephora haul. I have one more complete face of products to use. And then coming up, I have so many other videos that I need to film, including another inventory and declutter and some new eyeshadow palettes, and I just have so much to share with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you like this video, please subscribe, please hit the like button, and we'll see you next time.